Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Geekday podcast, where we turn your weekday into a geek day. I'm one of your hosts, Robert Tijerina, and with me today, I have the new face of Geekday, Miss Popceptive herself, Miss Natalie Ibarra. How you doing, Natalie?
Pretty good, pretty good. How about you, Robert?
I'm doing all right. I am alive. Uh,
That's good.
as
That's
much as you can
good.
be in the
Stole my
struggle.
line.
Yeah, my bad, sorry. Oh, but now that he's talking, we actually have a very special guest with us today.
Mhm.
Also, one of the new members of the Geek Day podcast. We have the father, the dark soul himself,
Oh
Mr.
God.
Daniel Gomez. Dan, how are you doing, man?
Yes, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm Daniel, or otherwise known as Dan, the social disease attacking family values and church dynamics until nothing sacred is left.
Is that what you had prepared? That's what it was?
That
Yes.
was the
That's what it
spiel.
was. Awesome, awesome. Well, Dan, actually, since you're here, let's get to know you just a little bit more. We know each other through work, but like,
Yep.
who are you? Like, what do you do? Like, what is your existence?
I question that myself. Um, no, I am, I guess, a self-proclaimed geek. I don't know. I don't think I've ever said that to anybody, but it's true.
We're making you say
Um,
it now.
yeah, you're forcing a gun to my head. Uh, Transformers, Pokemon, Star Wars enthusiast, Marvel. You can see behind me.
I do.
I fancy myself a beer connoisseur. I like to taste all kinds of fancy beers. Political science major. I can lecture you about the Constitution and tell you why you're wrong about it. And I'm a musician and I love music.
I was about to
Audiophile.
say you're a huge musician. You're working on your project. The system has failed us.
Yes, system has failed.
System has failed. Sorry, I
Um,
added an extra word.
yeah.
My bad.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, current music project working on. It's kind of like a futuristic cyberpunk synthesizer ordeal with a story to go alongside with it. So it's still in the oven, but it's coming along nicely.
Yeah,
I'll
I
tell
know
you
when
that
you
much.
first told me about it, I was super excited for you because I know like you. I've listened to some of your stuff you've done. You put on SoundCloud or you put on Facebook or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
usually like always like really good stuff. And because I know you focus a lot on the bass, and that's what I love about music. I love that just in the background, and like sometimes you can really just you can feel the music through just the bass line. Really, sometimes.
Right.
Um, but anyways, let's get to the meat of the podcast.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I want to start with something that I'm very excited about, and that
Mhm.
I called last week. There is going to be a Scott Pilgrim versus the World table read happening on EW.com. So this comes from EW. On Monday, this coming Monday, a majority of the cast from Scott Pilgrim versus the World is going to reunite and just read the script. So this is who they're going to actually have. So they're going to have Michael Cera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays Ramona Flowers, Chris Evans, Aubrey Plaza, Ellen Wong, who plays Knives Chow, Kieran Culkin, who's actually did a lot in Succession. I don't know if y'all have seen that, the HBO
Mm.
show. It's really
Mm-mm.
good. Mark Webber, Johnny Sims, Alison Pill, Satya Bahaba. He's the first Evil X.
Oh, okay.
Mae Whitman, Brendan Routh, and Jason Schwartzman. And then
No
we're
Brie
also-
Larson?
No Brie Larson. That's what I was
No
thinking.
Brie Larson.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. I mean, she's really big now, but if you can get Chris Evans, like
I
that's
was gonna
what-
say you can get Chris Evans.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to get Edgar Wright, who wrote and directed, and then the co-writer Michael Bacall, who also is one of the original author of the. Wait, no, sorry, he's just a co-writer, and then the actual author Brian Lee O'Malley is also going to join them. So,
Dang.
are y'all guys excited for this? Like, are y'all guys huge Scott Pilgrim versus the
Yeah.
World fans?
Well, I mean, I am, but it's what better time for them to announce that they're doing this from you saying that you got exactly what you wanted. You wished it into reality, Robert. You wished it into reality.
I happen to know Edgar Wright personally, and I
You're
guess
just like,
I guess he saw the
let's do it.
podcast and he was like, you know what,
Yeah.
I got to give him what he wants,
Dude,
thank-
send his number my way.
Oh, I will definitely. Yeah, talk about Baby Driver or The World's End or whatever. I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan. I could go on and on about Edgar Wright forever. But honestly, I'm super excited for this. Another thing I wanted to kind of bring up that's in the vein of this, because I know we were talking about like reunions and stuff like that. There's also a charity table read going on, and I forgot the Twitter account, but I'll figure it out before we end this. But what they're doing is that they're getting a cast of voice actors, and they're going to be reading on stream Spider-Man 2, like the original Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire one. But the Spider-Man who's going to be reading is not Tobey Maguire, it's Yuri Lowenthal, the voice of Peter Parker in the PS4 version, who I absolutely loved. So it's really, really good.
I hadn't heard about that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm super, super stoked for this. So for all of this, like, it's just like my like geek wet dreams just coming true, and I'm super excited for it. But let's get into a little bit more of a serious subject. This past, actually, I think it was Saturday this happened. Ubisoft had their Ubisoft Forward conference. So it's kind of like the Nintendo Direct or the Inside Xbox or the State of Plays or whatever for like PS4 has, where it's just a presentation where they show a bunch of things. And literally, like, I believe it was either an hour or the day before, Ubisoft came out with this quote saying, "Ubisoft Forward comes during a big internal change because all the content that has been because of that, all the content has pre-recorded. We wanted to recognize that the issues we're currently dealing with won't be addressed directly in the show, but we still have significant work to do and are committed to this process. We will provide more updates soon." And I had no idea what was going on. Like, I was like, what's happening? Yeah. And then I learned more that a bunch of the Ubisoft heads came just like were stepped down. And all of them were like for allegations of sexual harassment or, all this in the workplace. And this kind of like, to me, Alex and I did the report back when the Riot Games thing first happened out, when 150 employees just walked out of Riot Games. And they're like, we're not going to do this until, you fix the problems with forced arbitration. That was a big one. And, sexual harassment. And so does this give you hope that the video game industry is going to get better? Because it's seen like before, it's been seen as like the man's game, it's like it's the man's world. Do y'all think like this is actually really good? Do you think really a lot of stuff is going to come out of it?
Yeah, I think that it's a good step in the right direction. I know that you can kind of see, not across the board, there's problems. I mean, it's not uncommon that you're hearing these, misogynistic things happening, or sexist or even racist things happening in these companies. And I think with the kind of climate that we're in right now, a lot of people are kind of questioning and really challenging themselves to speak out. So I think when super large companies, like Riot, which is one of the bigger companies, chooses to do something like this, their employees chooses to do something like this, it really puts it on like the forefront of media and people's minds, and it kind of sparks conversation. And it did end up, making some changes. I think after the walkout, they kind of stopped the mandatory arbitration for sexual harassment for new employees. They haven't changed it for the people who already signed contracts.
Yeah, no one was grandfathered in, which was very interesting to me.
But
what do you think, man?
That's some change.
Yeah, I mean, she said it pretty well. Like, it right now is the time for a lot of people addressing you name it, any kind of injustice that they see is plaguing whatever kind of system that they're involved in, whether it be gender or sexuality or race. It just feels like now a lot of this is, coming to light, maybe a lot later than it should have. But the fact that so many people are behind this and are trying to push for change, I think it's a really good thing. And I really hope that, within the coming years, we see a drastic decrease in the amount of like misogyny, and, hopefully create a environment where female gamers and male gamers are seen as, equals, because that's how it should be. The games are made, it's called E for everyone for a reason.
Yeah.
Everybody should have the opportunity to be an alpha male gamer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alpha person, I suppose.
Alpha person game.
Hold on.
There you go.
That's exactly when you're saying like every person should be able to have fun. Like it's a game. It's for to have fun, and even like in the most I won't say radical, but in the most professional like instance of gaming and stuff like that, it always frustrates me that people, if a female is added to a team, like a professional team, or a female, like I guess the most recent instance, I don't know if y'all guys follow 100 Thieves, or they're professional League of Legends and Call of Duty, and they're a professional esports organization that's founded by Nate Shot, who is a huge Call of Duty player, and it's funded by Drake, the rapper.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's like it's an amazing organization. But just recently they announced their newest content creator, who is Nico Lowell, who was the OK Boomer girl. That's what she's most known as right now. They signed her, and so many people were outraged by that. And I think one of the most disgusting comments that I saw was like, "Wow, with a pair of tits, you can do anything in this world." And I was like, I mean, you got to realize that before she was the OK Boomer girl, this girl was grinding, like for years to get to where she was. Yes, she blew up from the OK Boomer video, but like she's a good gamer. She actually like games and stuff like that. There is a line to where there are some women that will take advantage of like the situation or whatever, but that's not the majority. There's always going to be those bad bunches in like the overall thing. So I'm hoping that what's it called? Someone in chat says, "Bro, I don't even know any video games, but I like y'all vibe." Oh, thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
But they also earlier said that Andrew Garfield was the worst Spider-Man. So
I will drink to that.
I was like, I'll also agree with that. So thank you. But like I said, like I just hope that one day all these negative connotations of like female gamers or female, like, why does their sex matter when they're doing just as great work as literally anybody else,
or better.
Yeah.
So anyways, now that we kind of got through all that, let's get into the actual games that we saw from Ubisoft Forward. There was a lot, and we're only really going to talk about the major ones, but the first one I wanted to talk about was Watch Dogs Legion. I don't know if y'all guys saw the gameplay that I sent y'all guys or anything like that, but the main focus of Watch Dogs Legion is that every person in the game is playable, and that to me is absolutely bonkers. Like that's such a cool thing. Do y'all guys really like the vibe of like what y'all guys saw with the gameplay or anything like that, or like have y'all played a Watch Dogs game? I know Nat's not really that big into that sort of field or whatever, but
yeah.
Do y'all, Dan, on your point, have you ever played a Watch Dogs game? Are you interested in it?
So I've never played it, but my homeboy Mark, shout out to Mark Villarreal and Jonathan Mendez back home. Mark actually did play the first Watch Dogs, and he said he really liked it. And from what he told me, it sounded like a really cool concept. It sounded, open world, but in a very unique kind of way. And so going into watching the gameplay for this one, I thought it was going to be a little bit of the same, but it totally blew my mind. It looks so like you could just do whatever you want, and it's like I loved the designs of all the characters. Like everybody's super unique looking. You could tell that they put a lot of work into the environment, into how each character can manipulate a certain situation to whatever way they really want to. And I want to play that game and listen to Anarchy in the UK while I do it.
Nat, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that I haven't played any of the previous games, but I think it's a really interesting concept in that there's no really traditional protagonist. You can kind of hop around to these variety of characters, which I think really makes it easy for the game to kind of have something for everyone. Like you can, if you don't like this, then you can switch over to this, and you can, like you said, all the time and effort that they've put into these different playable characters, you can really kind of sense it, and I think that allows the possibilities to be endless when it comes to playing it.
Yeah. And my big thing, kind of like what you said in the very beginning of your statement, that like it's not a traditional like single player game, but that's kind of like my worry. Like, how do you build a narrative from having so many different, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah,
like a
yeah.
GTA sort of thing where it's the silent protagonist that you're kind of just like, oh, there's just an overall story and you're kind of just working towards that, or like, do you think it's just gonna be fine? Like, I believe that it might hinder the actual story of the game, if there even is one. Maybe it's just like a the open world Ubisoft games that we know, where it's just like
Yeah.
go do checklists or whatever. Do you think like, yeah, do you
I
think it's
think
gonna
if
impact the
done
story?
correctly, it could still be kind of a cohesive story, kind of pieced together throughout all the different people. I feel like you said, there might be an overarching thing that you're kind of just moving forward to, but I don't think it should be too bad.
What I imagine it being is you can take down certain situations in whatever way that you see as fit. Um, but then there will be certain situations where you're forced to take over a certain character, and because of that, that specific character is the one that's supposed to progress the story. Whether that person makes it through whatever checkpoint in the story it is or not, that's going to be um, the how the story moves forward.
Yeah.
So
Okay, cool. But so the next game that I want to talk about is going to be Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I am an Assassin's Creed nut. I've been going back and 100%ing getting every achievement for Assassin's Creed games, just because I hate myself and I love the games. Um,
hell yeah.
Most recently, these games, the Assassin's Creed franchise, is becoming more and more RPG esque. So it's kind of just like role player. You get to change however you want to play the game. Do you want to focus more on like brutal stuff? Do you want to be more of like an actual assassin? And a lot of people gave the last game a lot of flack for not being like canon. Like it is canon, but it's like a side story.
Mhm.
I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since 3. So
Oh,
what was the
wow.
one before this?
The one before this was Origins. That's the one in Greece.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And a lot of people were giving that a lot of flack. This game looks so different from Origins. So different. Honestly, like even though it's like in the same engine and it's the same like basic mechanics, to me it kind of looks like so different that I'm like, ooh, I'm not like scared for it because I know it's gonna do well because it's an Assassin's Creed game. It's a Ubisoft game, and it's in a really cool like time period. It's it's Vikings invading England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do y'all guys think about that? Would y'all guys want to pick this game up? I know you haven't, Dan, you haven't played an Assassin's Creed game in forever, but would this like make you want to pick the game back up?
I gotta say, when I was watching the gameplay, I was thinking, man, this is nothing like 3. Like, I loved 3. It was the one and only game that I ever completed. And the reason I did that is because I really liked the time period. I love the Revolutionary War. I think that's super interesting time. Having a Native American assassin, I thought that was so cool. And I really liked that game. But watching the gameplay for this one, it just looks so cool. It looks so free. It looks, I don't know. It really drew me in. I want to listen to Amon Amarth while I play it and just like burn down Anglo-Saxons villages and cut their heads off
Get
for
real brutal with
Odin.
it.
Yeah.
For Odin.
I don't know. I may pick it up. I really did like the gameplay and everything that it had to offer.
Awesome. Nat, what about you?
I think well, I have not played, I don't think any of them really. I want to say, yeah, I know,
Wow.
I know.
Oof.
Maybe I'll stream and we can get some viewers to come
Wow.
watch me play it
Stream
for
on
the
the
first time.
Geekday channel?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But I want to say, was it this game that they had leaked the footage, like gameplay footage,
Yeah,
the
like
beginning of the month? So I was pretty excited to actually see the trailer because I know that they had leaked like 30 minutes of it. I think it was like 10 3-minute clips, or no, 3 10-minute clips, I believe, of the game. So I think kind of seeing the actual trailer was really nice because I know I hate when things get leaked out because people work so hard on this stuff for it to just be leaked out. I've always hated that, whether it's video games, movies, TV shows, anything. And so I was glad that we were finally able to kind of watch this trailer and be able to see everything cohesive together. I think was pretty cool.
yeah, not gonna lie, when I was on Reddit and I was like, oh man, I saw Assassin's Creed gameplay leaked and I was like, I don't want to
Yeah.
watch it. I don't want to. Oh, and I clicked on it, and then as soon as I clicked on it, it was like deleted. It was like the copyright holders have taken
Yeah,
this
they
down
were.
the claim, and I was like, that's good. Like Ubisoft worked fast to knock that down.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's like somewhere on the web, it was the same thing that happened with The Last of Us 2. That as soon as it gets out somewhere, I was watching a podcast with Neil Druckmann, the director of The Last of Us, and he's like, as soon as it's out there for a minute, it's out there forever.
Yeah.
Which absolutely sucks because I had one of the people that I went to high school with text me, and he was like, "Hey, should I look at The Last of Us spoilers?" First of all, I was like, why would you ask me?
What? Yeah.
Second of all, it's like, no. I think
No.
my actual response back to him was like, would you want to waste countless hours and thousands of dollars that these people have spent, like, of their lives over crunch hours, just for like one little sneak peek when you literally a month away you can play the game, like you can play the full game, and they didn't message me back.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this guy's very opinionated about this because
Yeah.
I am like it sucks, and like I know as Dan is like a creative person, I'm sure like if your music got out and it was like you'd be not angry, but you would be like, man, like I wish like everyone could have experienced it together, and I wish like it wouldn't be like, because as soon as it gets out like that, it just, I think it really dampens the experience.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just like it sucks so much, but I'm glad that they got that taken down as soon as possible. But yeah, so let's get into a little bit more sadder news. Over this past weekend also, actress Naya Rivera of Glee fame has passed away. She was in her early 30s. If you haven't been following this story, her and her son were out on a boat and it capsized, and she was able to save her son, and the police found her son alone on a boat. And as soon as that happened, they sent out so many rescue teams and stuff like that until finally a day later they found her body in the lake. I'm actually a really big fan of Glee. Well, at least the earlier seasons of Glee. The original cast. And it's such a tragic thing for so many of these cast members. Some of them were a little bit more problematic. But I just feel so bad that this family of actors, like, I don't know. It takes the words out of my mouth how upsetting that was for me.
I think when we got the news that she was first missing, because they weren't sure exactly what had happened right when they found her son, and it was still missing. It wasn't a recovery mission. I think everyone was just kind of taken aback because it was something unexpected. She was really young, and just a couple of days ago she had tweeted or posted a photo on talking about basically like, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. And so what's it called? Just seeing it was heartbreaking. And I think that anyone who watches Glee knows how tight knit the cast was, and you could really sense that they were a family. And so kind of just seeing everyone afterwards, I think a couple of cast members even visited the lake along with the family. Just seeing all of that, it was horrible. She was just gone way too soon. So,
Dan, as someone that hasn't really watched Glee or anything like that, how did you feel about hearing this news? And I know you kind of just found out about it like today.
Right. Yeah. I had no idea who this actress was. I didn't even get the news when it was initially spread. But I mean, it's terrible. Just from a humanitarian standpoint, it's awful, especially because you think about the fact that the son survived. What did he see? Because I think the son described the last thing that he saw of her like drowning. I think that's what I had heard. And you just gotta think how traumatizing that must be. Like, that image is going to stay in his head forever. You can only hope that he's able to cope with it in a way that's not too unhealthy. Something like that can be pretty damaging, unfortunately.
Tyler in the chat says, your thoughts on a Glee curse. I don't think it's a Glee curse. I just think that it's a very tight and knit group of people that just so happen to have so many tragedies. You had Corey Monteith, who passed away from heroin overdose. You had the I'm personally not a fan of him. The guy that played Puck, I don't even know his name. That killed himself. That after he was found out to have child pornography on his laptop. Yeah, I know, Danny's probably never heard of any of this stuff.
Nope.
Yeah, but the Glee cast has had a lot of tragedies in their life, and and I wouldn't say it's a Glee curse. I don't think Ryan Murphy made them sell their souls to the devil or anything like that. But I do put my heart out there to the Glee family. I hope y'all guys are healing well, and I hope everything goes. I hope y'all guys are doing well. But let's get off this and let's talk about something that I know Dan might be really excited about. I know I'm excited about. It is The Bad Batch. So The Bad Batch is going to be a sequel cartoon, animation to Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Star Wars Clone Wars just had their final 7th season after 5+ years of waiting. And we're finally getting more of that sort of animation style. So the Bad Batch is going to follow a squadron that we met in episodes 1 through 4 of season 7 of defective, deformed clones that seem pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of just basically like the 501st. We had Rex and Fives and Echo and all those sort of people. Dan, are you super excited about that? What do you think about the time period that's going to be right after the Clone Wars?
Yeah. So first I want to say God bless Dave Filoni, man.
Oh,
God bless him. I love Dave Filoni so much. He's incredible. I gotta say, I did not expect the news of a Bad Batch series, but I did figure there's no way they're just gonna be 4 episodes and that's it. They're done with them. I knew they were gonna get a book or a comic book or something to kind of expand on their
why they were there. Yeah.
Exactly, right. And so, the thing that it made me think of the Stormtrooper Squadron, what is it? Scar Squadron, I think is what they were called. And I think they're called Task Force 99, named after after the Bad Batch. So it makes me wonder if we'll see kind of the beginnings of that in this show, especially because I know that it's going to take place after Order 66, or I think it's during and then after Order 66. So maybe we'll see the beginnings of them training elite stormtroopers in certain ways, kind of similar to the group dynamic that the Bad Batch has. And man, I just hope we get to see Darth Vader in that new animation style, because that was so good.
Yeah, that 30 seconds that we got of Darth Vader in that animation, because as long as it doesn't look like the Rebels animation, I'm sorry, I just hate that animation style so much.
They're
really skinny lightsabers. So I'm just ugh.
But definitely.
Yeah, what about you?
We like them thick in this house.
Now I know you're on. I think you said before we were starting this, you're on season 1, episode 22. That you have
just a little bit behind. Just a little bit.
You don't have to watch every episode. I'll send you something that you can kind of skip episodes, just the important ones, because you don't want to watch every Jar Jar, C-3PO, R2-D2 episode.
No,
you definitely don't want to watch all of those. So I'll send you something afterwards. But are you excited to get to where we are? Have you had anything spoiled for you immediately about Star Wars: The Clone Wars, or what's up?
I think definitely with the new season. Unfortunately, I've seen lots of. Well, I mean, no one's forcing me to watch these clips that come across my social media, but I mean, I'm kind of curious at the same time. So I've seen pieces of the new season, and it looks really good, which is what's motivating me to kind of finish up this so that I could watch the last season. But just hearing about this, I was just talking to somebody about the Bad Batch, and they were kind of telling me about the premise of the group and all this stuff, and how some of them are defective. I hate that word, but they're defective, and what's it called? But I think it's pretty cool. I think it's strategic. Everybody really liked the Clone Wars, kind of capitalized off of that. Very strategic on Disney's and Star Wars to kind of plan this series based off of that. The new stuff, the new movies tends to kind of be not met with the most openest of arms. So I feel like everybody's really excited for this. So like you said, David Filoni is going to be working on it, Jennifer Corbett. So I feel like they have good people. So.
So kind of that we're on the topic of Star Wars. I know it's not in our run of show. I'm really interested. Now, I actually never talked to you about the newest Star Wars movie, Rise of Skywalker. I know Dan and I, we literally as soon as we got out of the movie theater, we had a group chat with one of our managers, and we were like, I think we were all over the place. And like now that I'm now that I'm more out of it, I have a different opinion of the movie.
Okay.
But
definitely,
you definitely have a more different opinion. Also, they had the leak scripts of the supposed Colin Trevorrow movie that was supposed to happen called Duel of the Fates.
Don't even start with that, please.
But Nat, what did you think of Rise of Skywalker, or actually just like the sequel trilogy as a whole? Last Jedi, what's it called? The Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker.
I'm relatively new to Star Wars, so kind of seeing, yeah. So I don't really have. I mean, I had watched all of the ones previous before any of the new ones, and even then, I feel like I kind of was watching them so that way I could watch the new ones, and I didn't really see that big of a problem with them. I wonder if people in the chat are gonna.
I mean, you're allowed to your own opinion. No matter what. No matter what, you're allowed to your own opinion.
I just feel like maybe it was because people were judging them so harshly, and I like to go the opposite direction. And I don't know.
You like to actually enjoy entertainment rather than
I just feel like instead of ripping it apart, maybe we just kind of sit back and enjoy what's in front of us, and not always be expecting like 110%. I'm fine with what we've got. You got to make do with what you get.
Yeah. So how would you rank the sequel movies? So Last Jedi, Force Awakens, and Rise of Skywalker. What is your favorite one, and what is your least favorite one?
Oh gosh, Robert.
I'm gonna make all of us do it. So.
Okay.
If you want time, I think Dan has his
answer. I'll get time.
Oh, I have my answer.
Yeah.
Okay. I have my answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's unpopular, but I don't care. One is Last Jedi. I'm not saying it's a fantastic movie, but it tried something new in many different aspects, and for that, I have to give it a whole lot of credit. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, the movie looked beautiful. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, it's number one. Number two is, oh God, what's the name of the first one? Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
It's your McDonald's Star Wars. It tastes like Star Wars.
Copy and paste, yeah.
It's copy and paste. You know what you're gonna get when you get it. It's all reliable. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. I mean, there's stuff in there that I was not a huge fan of, but I can sit down, watch the movie, and have a good time, without thinking about it too hard. And then all the way back over there is Rise of Skywalker. I despise the Rise of Skywalker, unfortunately. I wanted to like it. I really did. I really, really did. But after watching it 3 different times, I wasn't able to do it.
When we got out of the movie theater, I think you were the only one that said that you didn't like it. I think you said enjoyed it. You enjoyed it.
I said I enjoyed it, but I didn't know how I.
Yeah.
What did I say? I said I didn't know how I felt about it, like wholeheartedly. I knew something was off. I knew I had to think about it and watch it a few more times. Mm-hmm. And sure enough.
Yeah. Nat, do you need a little bit more time, or?
I would probably do the same, except I would switch your last two, Dan. I feel like.
So you enjoyed Rise of Skywalker more than Last Jedi?
Yeah, I just feel like the other one was just kind of more generic. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I liked the newest one, but I didn't really.
Also, in chat, if y'all guys want to put down what y'all guys' ranks are, we can either agree with you or make fun of you. So, yeah, put them in there. We'd love to talk about that.
I'm on season 3 from that list.
Yeah, Ranger Blue says, I'm on season 3 from that list of the what's it called?
The Clone Wars list. Yeah. Hurry up, John. You're taking too long.
Yeah, it's been out for so many years now, John. Hurry up.
Yeah. I'm going to start spoiling stuff.
My ranking would have to be, it's going to be different from both of y'all's. Number 1 is The Force Awakens. I love The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, like kind of like Dan said, it is copy and paste. But to me, it is Star Wars. Like it is, like that movie first coming out. I worked at the movie theater when that came out, and I worked the overnights. So we were open 72 hours straight, and so I remember like having to like not look at anything in the theaters because I was waiting for my dad. I was going to take my dad on that Sunday of that opening weekend. Just like, I can't see anything. And then finally I watched it and I was like, wow. Like, because to me I was like, there are so many possibilities to where this can go. Like I thought when that first came out, I was like, okay, they're going to get rid of all the old main characters. Like they're going to kill them off and they're going to start their own story. Like they're going to get their own trilogy. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait for this. And then I was, kind of disappointed. But I'd say like the rest of my order is the exact way they came out. I think I did enjoy Last Jedi more than I liked Rise of Skywalker, just because Rise of Skywalker to me was if they made Fast and Furious the Star Wars movie. Like it was like
Yep.
It was just like
Yep.
let's be. I think J.J. Abrams just like kind of saw some of Colin Trevorrow's script and was like, okay, let's do that, but let's just make it fun. Let's do the George Lucas thing and like let's just like do this. Let's bring the Emperor back. And I was like, I don't really know about the Emperor. And then I really enjoyed. I really did enjoy. What's it called, Rise of Skywalker. But after I listened to the podcast of Colin Trevorrow's script, which now I'll send to you so you can listen to.
Okay.
I was like, that could have been so much better. Like there was so much more substance, and to me, that's what made The Last Jedi better. Was listening to the Colin Trevorrow leaked script, because I was just like, wow, like it really built off everything that was happening in The Last Jedi, and I feel so bad for J.J. Abrams, and I say that every time I talk about Star Wars because I think he did such a great job with Force Awakens. Like he set it up really well. It's a cookie cutter movie, but it is a great beginning to a new trilogy, I think, because you're reintroducing a bunch of the old characters into this basically the same world, but in a different part of the galaxy, and then you're introducing these 3 new characters, which I loved immediately. I loved Poe, I loved Finn, and I loved Rey. And then I always feel bad for John Boyega because he always got the bad end of the stick. Like his character was just so wasted, and you can kind of tell that they were gonna try to do something with Finn in The Rise of Skywalker. But again, that's built again into the Colin Trevorrow script. So I think if I didn't listen to that podcast and hear what that script was, I think I would have loved Rise of Skywalker so much more. But like I said, it's Fast and the Furious.
No. When I heard the script for Duel of the Fates, which was going to be the final movie, it gave me the same emotions, the same feelings, the same gravitas as Endgame. Because Endgame, while I think Infinity War is still a better movie, Endgame had so much weight. Like, I've never seen, heard, or felt a movie theater get up out of their chairs and scream and clap when Cap took Thor's hammer. Like, that was unreal. And I think if they had done the script, Colin Trevorrow's script for Duel of the Fates, you would have had that same kind of reaction in certain moments. There were just those moments where it's like, yes, that's the stuff that's been building up for almost 40 years. This is like straight from George Lucas's vision. It has so much weight behind it. It would have been fantastic. And instead, we got like a wet noodle. We got Fast and the Furious. We got stuff that didn't even matter, stuff that just came out of nowhere, fast-paced story, no explanations. I don't know.
Interesting stuff. We'll say it.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of interesting stuff.
Let's get off of the Star Wars topic.
Please, I'm fever.
Because I know Dan and I, we can talk about Star Wars for literally hours.
Oh yeah.
This next news article that we're talking about is actually something that Dan wanted to talk about, which is the new
that I can talk about for hours too.
Yeah, the new Transformers show called Transformers: War for Cybertron. It's a 3-part anime series that begins in the. This is from one of the websites that I saw, but this is the actual like quote unquote summary of what it's going to be. So it begins in the final hours of the civil war between the Autobots and Decepticons that have just torn apart the Transformers' home planet of Cybertron. Sorry, I'm like, ugh. Megatron is tempted to use Cybertron's source of all life and power, the Allspark, to reboot the battle-weary Autobots in order to unify his people. Led by Optimus Prime, our heroes orchestrate a series of counter-strikes that could prevent them from saving their planet by killing it. And it's going to be created by Rooster Teeth, which is actually a production company based in Austin, Texas. So go Texas, let's go.
We love to see it.
You love to see it. And if you don't know,
Yeehaw.
Rooster Teeth is has created other famous works, most notably Ruby. That's a huge in the anime community, and a newer show, Genlock. But Dan, go ahead, man, take it away.
Yeah, so I have been so excited about this since they first announced it. I believe the trailer for it first dropped in February of this year. They said it's going to drop sometime in the summer of this year, and for the longest time we hadn't heard anything about it. And then finally they said, all right, it's going to drop in June. No date, just June of 2020. And so, with everything with happening with COVID just ruined so many things, I think, for a lot of people in a lot of areas. And this is one of them. And unfortunately, what I read is that a lot of the international voices were unable to do their lines. So they wanted the show to come out in all languages all at once on Netflix. They didn't want to just do English and whatever second language was prepared. They wanted to do all languages. So for that to happen, they had to push it back. And so now the final release date is going to be July 30th. So it comes out at the end of this month. And I'm super excited about it because I am a huge Transformers fan. Have been ever since I was a kid. My favorite movie is the original 1986 animated film. It's a terrible movie, but it's number one in my heart.
Close to your heart, yeah.
Close to my heart. And, I have no shame. I've been collecting Transformers since I was a kid, and I still do. And I love the designs that they've come up for the show. They're so, they're very much inspired by the original, but adding like a new twist on them. And the story that they're going with sounds very cliche, but it's a story that we've never really gotten before. Because you always hear about, sorry?
Oh, I think the story sounds super cool. Like I think like that's a very like interesting conflict to me, at least, where it's like, it's okay. So it's the civil war between Autobots and Decepticons. Whoop-de-doo, we get that all the time. But like the idea of like now that they're actually fighting for the actual life of the planet, like it's like I can understand like the whole Megatron thing. It's like, okay, if I sacrifice the planet's life, we can save like whatever. Like it's interesting to me. It's like a Thanos sort of idea where it's like, yes, you're gonna lose a lot, but you're gonna gain a lot also.
So Megatron's whole thing, it's been his quote, his saying for I don't know how many years, is peace through tyranny. So go Megatron. But no, it's a story we've never really gotten, because the story that you always get, whether it's a TV show or the movies, it's always the battle on Cybertron has ended. They're now on Earth or whatever comes next. And it's always equal footing. It's always either the good guys are going to win or it's a draw, And then in this case, we're getting to the meat of the bad guys have already taken over the planet. The good guys are in hiding. They're trying to find a way to survive. And I feel like that's something they have not really explored before in terms of like animation or film. And I think that's really cool, and I'm really excited to see where they go with it. I know that the next two parts of it, because it's going to be a trilogy, the second part is going to be when they go to Earth, obviously. And I've heard rumors that the third part is going to be where they intermingle what's happening right now with a later iteration of Transformers where they turn into animals. That was known as the Beast Wars. And I was never really into that, because I'm like, I want my stuff to turn into planes and tanks. I don't want them to turn into gorillas and cheetahs.
And cheetahs just running around.
Yes, but I know a lot of people are excited about that, and I think it's a really cool idea, intermingling like the different factions of the same franchise. So Yeah, I'm excited about that. My one stipulation, I promise this is the last thing. The one stipulation is I'm really sad they weren't able to get Frank Welker as Megatron and um, Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, the two iconic voices.
Yeah, right
Um,
now they have it's Jason Marnocha who's gonna be Megatron, and
mm.
Jake Fusi for Optimus Prime. I've never heard of either of their names. I'm sure they're probably very famous. I think.
Well, the guy who's doing Prime's voice, I know he does a lot of voice work for like the Honest trailers and stuff like that. He's
Oh,
actually a
really?
young guy. He's not what I expected him to look like. That's for sure.
I'm gonna look it up right now, actually. So
While you do that, I need to plug my laptop in.
Oh
So
yeah,
give
go
me a
ahead.
sec.
Please don't die. Let's see. He looks like he's. Wow, he's from Awesomeness TV. So he's been like, I guess he's sort of like a more famous. I mean, like YouTube famous sort of person. But he's been voicing Optimus Prime for years. It seems. Yeah, I'm seeing as far back as 2014, but he's been doing him on the Thomas Sanders, the Vine star.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been doing voices for Optimus Prime for the Vine star Thomas Sanders.
Oh,
So
wow. I didn't know
that's
that.
interesting that he gets all the way up to actually doing War for Cybertron. I don't know if you heard that, Dan. Did you hear that? I think he's
Cut in and out a little bit.
okay. So the voice of Optimus Prime for this new series is actually he's been doing the voice for Optimus Prime since 2014, and he's been doing it for Thomas Sanders, the Vine guy. He's now a YouTube guy, but that's interesting to me. I'm trying to see anything for what's his name, for Jason Marnocha. I know like Nat says that she thinks that she heard that he's did voices for Jiraiya for
Yeah, I think
Naruto.
in the Japanese, because I know that you were saying that they wanted to do it in different languages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Japanese, they were having the voice of Jiraiya as Megatron, and the guy who voiced Kakashi as Ultra Magnus. So they're bringing in some really like famous anime favorites to kind of take over these voices, which I think will just get people to watch it even more.
He's been doing the voice of Batman for a while.
Oh, cool.
That's interesting.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman. One.
That is interesting.
Yeah, so Crisis on Two Earths. Oh no, for like YouTube videos. Never mind. No, I was like,
oh,
that doesn't make
that's
sense.
awesome.
But yeah, I guess he doesn't. I mean, he's the voice of Omen in Valorant, so that's interesting. That's a newer thing. Sorry, I just wanted to get to the. I like knowing voice actors are from. But yeah, so that's gonna be that. The last thing, which I'm super favorite for. I'm super excited for now that Dan brought it up, is The Last Ronin. So it's going to be a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic that, quote unquote, follows a lone surviving turtle going on a seemingly hopeless mission to obtain justice for his fallen family and friends. And the co-creator of TMNT, Kevin Eastman, has said that The Last Ronin is a heartfelt love poem to all the TMNT universes of the past and offers up an intense look at one possible future, firmly based on and adapted from an original 33-year-old idea from the original creators. Wow. Like, honestly, like, as soon as Dan was like, oh, we have to talk about The Last Ronin, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let me look it up. And when I started reading more and more about it, I was like, dude, this is like Wanted, but with Ninja Turtles. Like, in like an apocalypse future. And like, some of the stuff that I've seen, like they have some of the comic strips out, and it looks so good. Like, it's like an actual dark, gritty look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I know is super weird because the last thing we've gotten from them is either the Nick show or the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which always portrays them as like super fun-loving, crazy, wacky creatures and stuff like that. But Dan, so what are you super excited about with this?
Well, Ninja Turtles is actually something else that I really grew up with, but it was never something that I kept consistent with. I did grow up watching the original cartoon and the early 2000s one. I don't know if anybody remembers. There's an early 2000s redo of Ninja Turtles that was supposed to be a little bit grittier than the original because
that one,
they were a little bit grittier. It was a little more serious than the original one. because in the original one they had like big eyes and like big old smiles, and everybody was having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I grew up with Ninja Turtles, and so every time I see something new about that, I'm very wary because of like I know when they got adapted to like the Nickelodeon shows, I was kind of iffy about it. It seemed really kid friendly, and just I didn't really vibe with it all that well. And the Michael Bay movies, well, I don't regard Michael Bay as an artist in any regard. So we'll leave it at that. But when I saw this, I was ecstatic. This looks just so cool. And like I feel like there's certain types of franchises that try to take a gritty route and they fail because they try to do something that's too dark, or they go, I don't know, it just doesn't work for what they're trying to do. But with this, I feel like it's perfect because they have tried to do slightly darker things in the past, but they never could because it was always supposed to be a quote unquote kids show. And with this, having one last Ninja Turtle alive trying to get revenge for his fallen brothers, his master, I mean, that's perfect. It's perfect.
It is.
I don't
crazy.
think they talk about which Ninja Turtle it is too.
They don't, and I really like that because you can speculate like for hours and hours. Yeah, it could be any of them because it's like it could easily be Leonardo. That's the easiest choice. It could easily be Raph. Mikey would be a weird choice, but it would make sense for him to lose his brothers and then become this like serious figure. Or it could even be Donnie, the smartest turtle, be the last one alive because he was able to outsmart whatever it is that killed the other one. So
what about you, Nat?
And it's
are you excited for this? I know, like, I don't know if you're the biggest Ninja Turtle fan in the world or whatever.
When y'all were talking about every time I think of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I always think of the 1990s film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the rubber suits and everything.
Yes, those 70-pound costumes just coming at you. So when you sent this to us, I was like, oh, holy crap. Like, this looks really good. This is not, these are not the same turtles.
No.
What's it called? But yeah, it looks like, even just seeing the art from it, it's just so nice. The colors, the darks, the reds, really bringing it in. Seeing, it says wish for death, like it's not the same one at all. And I'm really excited to kind of see this different take on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like I said, previous to this, really what's in my mind is the 1990s film, but this is far from that, and I'm really excited to kind of pick this up and see where it goes.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of really good comic books coming out. Like, I've never been the actual biggest like physical comic book person, but man, what was the other one that they just all the stuff that's coming up with the Star Wars universe? I know we're getting back in Star Wars.
Yes.
But all the new stuff that's getting coming out of the Star Wars universe, where it's like they're creating was the New Republic? Is that what it was? Or
yes,
the New
Republic? Or wait. What was it called? The High Republic.
The High Republic.
The High Republic. Yes.
Yeah. So that's gonna be like years way before this Star Wars universe that we're in, and that's what I'm super excited about. That whole new world mixed with like new worlds being rediscovered, like in this TMNT story, that I'm super excited for. I think we're finally getting the innovation that we're not getting in movies and stuff like that or television. They've been usually just rehashing the same ideas over and over again. But I'm glad to see something like this happening.
Yeah. And what's cool about it, if I could just say one more thing about it, is that what I saw is that it's only going to be like a 5-issue story. So it's really accessible. The Ninja Turtles, all 4 of them, Splinter, the bad guy Shredder. So that's all you need to know going into it. And if you just know that there's one last turtle alive, I mean, that's perfect to just get into a really good story.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like practically it sounds so crazy. It's like,
a
turtle is in a wasteland and he's out for revenge, and you're like, what? Like, did they shove like straws in its brother's mouth or something like that, or something?
Oh god!
No,
take the turtle.
No.
But like after when you really put it into perspective, like how these characters have evolved for all these years, like going from like what as a parody of Daredevil, I believe that's what they started off as.
Is that what they started as?
I believe so. That's what I've heard, at least. That they started as
no
a parody
kidding
of Daredevil. Again, take that with a grain of salt. Allegedly,
Yeah.
Don't sue me, anyone. Don't sue Kevin Eastman. But I believe that's what it was. To like where they are now and stuff like that. How nothing. The beauty of seeing that nothing can ever like you can evolve something into so much more than what it has been. If you just have just the creative enough mind to do that.
But some of the chat said that the only way TMT could get bad is if the CW was the one doing it.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
Shots fired at CW. Shout out to the new Batwoman and everything going on there.
Yeah.
TMNT and Flash crossover. I'm weak.
Oh boy.
Okay, so
I mean, Batman's met the Ninja Turtles before.
This is true. He has met the Ninja Turtles before. So we are reaching the end of our podcast, and we are gonna introduce our question of the podcast. This is brought to you today by Miss Natalie Ibarra, and she's asking, who would your quarantine partner be? If you can choose anyone from any, non fiction, television,
books,
game over,
TVs,
who would
anything.
you choose? Nat, you're the one that brought up this question. So go ahead and take it away. In chat also, go ahead and type in y'all's, and then I think we're gonna tweet it out. Yeah,
tweet us at the Geekday Podcast on Twitter, your answers. We now have an Instagram, so we're gonna start posting on there. You can put your answers there in our comments or in the chat right now. But if I had to choose my quarantine partner, it would probably be a tie between Peter Parker and Annabeth Chase. I feel like Peter Parker would be really fun. It'd be a really cool time to kind of hang out with each other. Also, he's Spider-Man, so I would have a whole bunch of interesting stories to tell. And Annabeth, because from the Percy Jackson series, if you're not familiar with that, but I just feel like she's so smart. She would have everything that I need. She'd be so prepared. I would not have to worry about anything if the world fell into chaos while we were in quarantine.
Dan, what about you, man?
I would probably... So I've been watching this show recently. I'm just recently getting into it, and that's probably why this is my answer, but it'd probably be Hannibal Lecter. Mads Mikkelsen, Hannibal Lecter.
We talked about this before, and I was like, Hannibal Lecter, and Nat will be eating good, and I was like,
no, definitely. Like you're gonna get bored of eating the same old thing. He'll make something new every day.
Yeah, just order.
Granted, it'll be made of people, but
order Postmates.
Something new.
You're not gonna get the food. You're gonna eat the actual delivery person. So
you're gonna eat the Postmate himself. So I guess that's my answer.
Paradox Theory says Percy Jackson or even Harry Potter. I could see how
Harry Potter would be a good one.
It'd be really fun. I know I said my answer before we started the show, but I'm gonna say it again. I think Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty would be a really fun person, just because he has a teleportation gun and I can get out of the house. Like I can just I can go to a world where coronavirus just doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist, but something worse does.
Exactly.
But it'll be an experience. Morty has fun every once in a while. So maybe I would just have to get my knee looked at, so when I'm running away, it doesn't break. Because my knee is in pain right now.
I could see you as the new Morty.
Oh God! Oh jeez. But anybody else in chat have any answers? We're just gonna.
Somebody said Danny DeVito and just redo.
Oh hell yeah!
Did they really? I didn't see that. Danny DeVito. That'd be really interesting.
Hell yeah!
Just redo Twins, or just do every scene. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Ooh.
Just reenact every episode with him.
So if there's no more, then we're going to go ahead and end it today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on the Geekday Podcast. Return your weekday into a Geek Day. You can find us here on twitch.tv/the Geekday Podcast, or on Twitter, at my Twitter, which is at I'm Robbie T, which is T with 3 E's. You can also catch Natalie at Popceptive on Twitter. It's POPCEPTIVE. I think.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
And then you can follow our brand new co-host over here on my left. Yes, Mr. Dan Gomez at superb_owl. I don't even want to try and spell that. I'm sure it's very easy, but I don't want to.
It just spelled Super Bowl. Super Bowl,
but with an underscore in between the B and the O.
Yes.
But thank you again. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm gonna do something a little bit different today. We're gonna find someone to raid. I want to start sharing our community a little bit more. So I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit more while I'm looking for someone to raid. And then yeah, someone said Aang. That might be. Oh,
Aang.
All Might. All Might's also really good.
Endless air conditioning.
Actually, also before we leave too, I want to thank all of our followers. Our new followers today. Ibarra 4602, Adrian the King, Matt with three T's and a D24. Username Tori, Rustin_TSU. Thanks, Rustin. Way back Zach 99, Stephanie 24, V Trigu, SDS 5290, Jas Joss, Kiddo Granger, and Ranger Blue, and Dr. Peppa Hagaro, and Roberto, and JJ_2120. Wow, we had a lot. And Guarded Logic. That was all.
Nice.
Yeah. So thank you so much for the
support.
support.
Thank you, everybody.
With that, we get to be a little bit bigger and share our geekiness with anything, with everyone on Twitch. I believe.
Also, our new followers, check out our Twitter. And if you have any ideas for stuff you want to hear on the podcast or any questions that you would like us to answer towards the end, I think it'd be nice for us to kind of continue to do these questions. Just tweet them to us or leave them on our Instagram and we'll get to them.
Okay, I found someone to host. This is one of my friends, Captain McFly. He is I host him a lot on my channel. My personal channel I'm Robbie T on Twitch. He works for Dallas Fuel and he is one of the nicest guys in the world. He just had his brand new daughter. So go over there and give him some love. Tell him that nice. Robbie sent you. So thank you so much, everyone. Y'all guys have a great day and stay geeky.